is January the 24th of 2023. We are at Dreher High School here in Columbia, South Carolina. This is the regular scheduled board meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Do have a statement we'd like to read that says, pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, which is FOIA, the public has been provided access to this live stream of the meeting via the district's website, which is www.richland1.org, as well as in person with limited seating. At this time, we will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into executive session.
Second.
We have a motion to go into executive session by Commissioner Bishop. It's been seconded by Commissioner Myers. We'll open the floor for question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote. And this is electronic, Eva? Manual. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The ayes have it. The Board of Commissioners will go into executive session at this time. And let me just state for the record, Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Clyburn are not present at the time. They are stuck in traffic because of the accident. But the board is going into executive session to discuss the following: under Office of Human Resources, HR personnel updates, administrative hire, and the hiring of personnel. And also under the board, we will be entertaining a student appeal and a parent request to be heard. At this time, Board of Commissioners will retire for executive session. Thank you. Again, today is January the 24th of 2023. The board is now out of executive session. We did entertain a motion to end executive session at 6:58 p.m. That motion was given by Commissioner Myers and was seconded by Commissioner Weston, and the vote was unanimous. Also, let the records reflect that all board members are present at this time and were present for executive session. We will now, before we start the meeting, take a moment of personal privilege. My board allows us, my colleagues allow us to. We like to honor and recognize Dr. Christopher Lee and the Dreher High School Whirlwind Ensemble, which you heard playing out in the foyer from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. on tonight. Those students were Patton Curry, who's a first chair region band, Lauren Greer, an eighth chair all-state band, Coleman Hughes, a second chair region band, Emma Marie Rowland, third chair all-state band, and they all serve under the direction and guidance of Dr. Christopher Lee. At this time, let's give it up for our ensemble. Certainly want to thank you and welcome all of you to the meeting on tonight. At this time, we will move into our public session, and we will begin with our invocation being presented on tonight by Pastor Joshua Forrest of the First Baptist Church here in Columbia. If he would come forward at this time. Yes, sir.
Let's pray. Father, I thank you for everyone in this room. Thank you for uniquely crafting each board member with gifts, perspectives, experiences, and voices. Thank you for their willingness to serve and support Richland One County Schools. God, I pray that you enlighten the eyes of their hearts to see the needs and solutions that lay before them. Provide wisdom and grace and clarity as they diligently serve. God, bring them to one love and one heart for every student, family, and staff member. God, may we see people more than we see our agendas. God, you are good, and I pray that you go before this and your will be done. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And again, thank you so much, Pastor Forrest, for being here with us. We certainly appreciate all that First Baptist Church does for Richland One students within this community. At this time, we will move on to the adoption of the agenda. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Bishop and second by Commissioner Clyburn. We'll open the floor for question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote. And we're going to do this verbally on tonight. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The ayes have it. The agenda for tonight's meeting has been adopted. We will now move to our school presentation, which will be done by Commissioner Devine.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to everyone. For 84 years, Dreher High School has been a symbol of excellence for Richland School District 1. The school opened its doors for the first time in September 12, 1938. It was the third high school to be built in the city of Columbia and was initially accredited by Saks. The school was named for Ernest S. Dreher, the second superintendent of Columbia City Schools. The 10-acre lot on which Dreher was originally built was once part of Governor Wade Hampton's plantation. In 1947, the property north of the original lot was purchased and the school was expanded with an addition in 1952. And then in 2002, Richland 1 voters passed one of the largest bond referendums in the district's history for district school improvements. And based on Dreher's 64 years of service at that time, additional property was purchased in 2005 along the western border of the property, and a new $42 million comprehensive facility was opened in 2007. Athletic upgrades to include a practice field and tennis courts were completed and opened up for use in 2019 after thorough negotiations with local neighborhood leadership and at the time, Chairwoman Harris. Today, Dreher High School houses roughly 1,150 students and 100 staff members. The faculty and staff remain committed to the original mission of providing all students with a positive emotional learning environment that encourages academic, vocational, artistic, and personal growth. The school's expectations of excellence, combined with highly qualified staff and outstanding co-curricular opportunities among activities, the arts, and athletics, ensure that this mission will continue to be fulfilled. And at this time, we will now have a school presentation by one of our staff persons.
Thank you. And I wanted to tell you all, excuse me. I wanted to say welcome to Madam Chair, the school board, and also the superintendent, Dr. Witherspoon. Excuse me, y'all, I'm really sorry. My name is Ariel Azuzu. I'm an assistant principal here at Dreher High School, and I am proud to share this brief video of you guys highlighting our points of pride here at Dreher. I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you.
Good evening, and welcome to Dreher High School, where we're leaders in transforming lives through education, empowering all students to achieve their potential and dreams. We're grateful to have an opportunity in a few moments to share just a small sampling of our plentiful points of pride. Here at Dreher, we like to refer to ourselves as a 4A Renaissance school, as we consistently focus on all 4 areas of student life: academics, activities, the arts, and athletics. Through our intentional focus on excellence, we were honored in 2019 by the U.S. News and World Report as being one of America's most challenging high schools. And for multiple years in a row now, the U.S. News and World Report has also demarcated Dreher as one of America's best high schools, with an annual ranking within the top 10 in South Carolina, most recently at number 6 in 2022. We will begin with academic points of pride. Dreher is an AP capstone diploma school, offering 24 AP courses and 3 dual enrollment courses, including AP Seminar and AP Research, which lead to essentially a senior thesis that is evaluated by the College Board in requirement for the special diploma. Over the past 5 years, we've averaged 3.7 National Merit semifinalists, 3.0 National Merit finalists, and 1.3 National Merit Commended Scholars. Dreher also offers 6 special programs for student transfer: AP Capstone, Business Management, Chinese, German, Latin, and the Project Lead the Way Engineering, with offerings in aerospace engineering, civil engineering, computer science, and digital electronics. An additional point of pride at Dreher High School relates to the success of our seniors, who over the last 5 years have a median GPA of 3.7, composite SAT score of 1634, and composite ACT score of 20.5. 79.5% of students graduating from Dreher High School go on to a 4-year, 2-year, or certificate-bearing institution of higher education. Our most recent graduating class, the class of 2022, finished with a 4-year cohort graduation rate of 90.2%, including 34 capstone diplomas, 28 Palmetto Fellows, 21 South Carolina Academic Honors winners, 3 National Merit finalists, 2 National Merit Commended Scholars, and those kids pulled in over $18 million in scholarships. Another significant part of student life here at Dreher High School involves the student organizations and clubs, of which we currently have over 50. Several of these organizations have state and national level recognitions to include, but not limited to, our mock trial team, youth and government delegation, Navy JROTC drill and drone teams, computer science team, American math competition team, speech and debate teams, robotics team, chemistry Olympiad, Key Club, National Honor Society, and quite frankly, the list goes on. If a student has an interest, they can find a place to fit in at Dreher High School. The fine and visual arts at Dreher High School are amazing. We have a myriad of opportunities for students to explore self-expression through art. Our theater and guitar programs have been noted as the best in the state. This past year, our marching band and Dreher dance team finished 6th in the state at the SCBDA state finals. Our chorus and orchestra programs consistently bring home superiors and superiors with distinction ratings from the South Carolina Music Educators Association Concert Performance Assessment. And our dance and visual arts programs are considered top programs throughout the Midlands, and most recently, our visual art and literary magazine, Whispers, was awarded a rating of first class by the National Council of Teachers in English, the highest honor they bestow. Our final area of pride here at Dreher High School is our athletics program. Over the past 5 years, we've brought home 9 state championships as teams and individuals in the areas of boys soccer, girls swimming, boys track and field, boys cross country, and girls tennis. Our athletic program continues to grow, with participation up annually over the last 3 years, and teams making it into the playoffs consistently during all three sports seasons, fall, winter, and spring. Thank you very much for your time this evening and allowing us to share just a few points of pride about our amazing school. We are Dreher High School, a proud Richland 1 school. Thank you.
So as you guys can see, we have so much to offer here, not only at Dreher, but also within our district, Richland 1. Thank you guys so much again for inviting us to showcase our school, our students, and our programs. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Suzu, for that presentation. At this time, we will move on to our school board spotlight, which will be presented on tonight by Commissioners Lomanak and Commissioner Weston.
A Dreher High School junior, as they go down.
Good evening again, school board commissioners, Madam Chair, and
Hold
Superintendent.
one second.
second.
Hold one
We're
second.
going to let them get down.
Commissioner Weston is going to read in, and then she'll introduce you. Okay.
A Dreher High School junior is one of 100 teens and the only South Carolina student selected to attend the Disney Dreamers Academy this spring. Dreher Assistant Principal Ariel Azuzu will introduce him and tell us about the program.
Thank you, and good evening again to Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, and Superintendent Witherspoon. Dreher High School junior Benjamin Brown is a multi-hyphenate scholar athlete and co-author of the children's book, The Day Dennis Lost His Woo. Benjamin is active in several school and civic organizations, including the ROTC, the Honor Society, the Key Club, Student Council, Inroads, Youth Volunteer Corps of America, the Columbia chapter of Jack and Jill America, Incorporated, and the 1904 Society of the Delta Chi Bole of Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. Former State Superintendent of Education Molly Spearman recognized Benjamin as a 2020 South Carolina Department of Education Junior Scholar. Benjamin is one of 100 students chosen to participate in the 2023 Disney Dreamers Academy in Walt Disney World Resort in Florida for the 16th annual event. He was the only student chosen from the state of South Carolina to attend the 4-day event aimed at broadening career awareness and creating exclusive opportunities for teens from underrepresented communities here in America. During his free time, he enjoys playing golf, listening to music, watching sports, fitness, and volunteering. He plans to be a STEM major in college. He's also inspired by this quote from former President Barack Obama. "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." Board of Commissioners, I present to you Mr. Benjamin Brown, 2023 Disney Dreamers Academy winner. Thank you.
That's right.
Did he want to say something? Let him speak. Let him speak.
Oh, so yeah, the program, Disney Dreamers Academy, is pretty much a 4-day experience down at Walt Disney World in Florida, where me and the 99 other people pretty much get to like learn about careers and stuff, get to bond with each other, and yeah, pretty much it's just a career workshop focusing on plans for the future, and yeah.
And congratulations.
Photograph? Okay. Photo. Congratulations. Two Richland 1 students and 3 schools were recognized during the City of Columbia's 2023 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration. Nutrition Services Director Tracy Dixon will introduce them and tell us about their honors.
Thank you, and good evening, members of the board and Dr. Witherspoon. Each year, the City of Columbia holds a celebration honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. During the event, the city presents the Dream Keepers Award scholarships to local students and schools that collect the most food through the MLK Honor the Dream food drive. They're recognized at this event. This year's MLK Day celebration was held on January 16th, at MLK Park on Green Street. The Dream Keeper Scholarship Awards recognize students 18 years and under who voluntarily demonstrate the ideals of social responsibility, political empowerment, diversity, racial harmony, nonviolence, and unselfish service. Students also must have a 2.0 GPA. 2 of the 4 Dreamkeeper Award Scholarship recipients this year are Richland 1 students. I'll ask them to come forward as I call their names. Anaya Hodges. Anaya. Anaya is a senior at W.J. Keenan High School. She received a $500 scholarship. Benjamin Brown. Benjamin is a junior at Dreher High School. Benjamin received a $250 scholarship. Please join me in giving Anaya and Benjamin a round of applause. Yes. Okay, thank you. Three Richland 1 schools collected the most food during this year's Honor the Dream food drive. The food collected by participating schools and city department goes to Harvest Hope Food Bank to help individuals and families in need in our community. I'll ask the principals or their designees to come forward as I call the names of their schools. The third place winner was Forest Heights Elementary School, which collected 1,476 pounds of food. Mr. Jason Kepke is the principal. The second place winner was Meadowfield Elementary School, which collected 1,504 pounds of food. Ms. Lakeisha Cook is the principal. And the first place winner was Hand Middle School, which collected 2,894 pounds of food. Dr. Patrice Green is the principal. And again, please join me in applauding these principals and their schools for their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Dixon. Thank you. 9 Richland One schools have been recognized as being among America's healthiest schools. Health and Physical Education Coordinator Lisa Curtis will introduce them and tell us more about the awards.
Good evening, Chairwoman Harris, Board of Commissioners, and Dr. Witherspoon. My name is Lisa Curtis, and I'm Richland One's Health and Physical Education Coordinator. I'm very pleased to announce that 9 Richland One schools were among the 406 schools nationwide to be named as America's healthiest schools for the 2021-2022 school year. Richland One had more award recipients than any other school district in South Carolina. This recognition was awarded by the Alliance for a Healthier Generation and celebrates schools' dedication to supporting the health and well-being of students, staff, and families. There are 9 categories for recognition. All Richland One award recipients were recognized for the Implementing Local School Wellness Policy category, and Olympia Learning Center was also recognized for the Strengthening Social Emotional Health and Learning category. When I call your school, please come to the front to be recognized and stay until all are called. AC Flora High School. I believe they're not here. Brockman Elementary School. And Creighton Middle School. Dreher High School. Gadsden Elementary School. Hyatt Park Elementary School. I believe they're not here either. Lower Richland High School.
You know it. You heard that. Raiders. You heard that. Healthy.
Olympia Learning Center. And Pine Grove Elementary School.
All right.
These are principals and school wellness leaders of these schools. Congratulations to all, and thank you for being school wellness champions.
Yes, yes. Where you going? Where's the church at? You know I'm gonna mess with you.
Thank you to our spotlighted schools.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Weston, and to Commissioner Lominack. We also want to, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, salute and congratulate all of our schools on the outstanding job that you are doing. Congratulate our young people that are doing amazing jobs and going out across the country representing this school district. We are very proud of you, and we don't just say that, we really mean that. We are proud of you because you're telling the Richland One story. So congratulations to all of our young people that were recognized on tonight, as well as all of our schools. And at this time, Dr. Witherspoon, if you have any additional comments that you'd like to share.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to echo comments certainly to our young people and to our schools. It shows the great work that our students are doing across our footprint, and then also our schools in terms of being healthy and making sure that as we address the whole child and the whole adult, that we're recognized for those efforts. So congratulations again to the students recognized this evening, and as well as to the schools with that Healthy Award.
Thank you so much, Dr. Witherspoon. At this time, we'll move on to 6.5, which is public participation. This is an opportunity where an individual can sign up to speak on an agenda item or a non-agenda item, and it's my understanding we don't have anyone signed up on tonight. We do?
I need to make a statement, though.
Okay. We have one statement that needs to be made at this time by our executive.
Chairwoman Harris, Commissioners, and Dr. Witherspoon, we do not have anyone to sign up in person. However, we did have one person to submit virtually, but the comments that were made would need to be handled by our staff.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Wilson, for that. At this time, we will move on to the consent agenda. And if there's no objection from the board, we read both of these items in, which is 7.1, the minutes for January 10th, 2023, and 7.2, the December 20th, 2022 financials. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Bishop, second by Commissioner Devine. We'll now open the floor for question or discussion on either of these items. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote, and we will do that manually. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The ayes have it. The vote is unanimous. The consent agenda has been approved. We'll now move to the Office of Academics, which is 8.1, the Thrive Richland presentation being presented on tonight by Dr. Quantina Hagwood.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, Dr. Witherspoon, thank you for the opportunity to highlight the tremendous impact that Thrive Richland is having here in Richland 1. As you know, our strategic plan calls our attention to the importance of early childhood education. Specifically, we pledged that by 2024, 67% of our students will demonstrate school readiness when entering kindergarten. And what we know for sure is that readiness takes shape long before children walk through the doors of our schools. Researchers go so far as to estimate that nearly 90% of critical brain development occurs prior to kindergarten. It is with that in mind that we launched Thrive Richland, a grant-funded program that has been awarded approximately $2 million since 2019. Thrive Richland is yet another example of Richland One's commitment to addressing the needs of the whole child, an example of our unwavering dedication to meeting both our students and our families where they are, an example of our recognition that children thrive most when we engage their families and their communities in ways that honor their contributions. Rhonda Wiley, our Director of Early Childhood Education, will now share with you the enormous impact of Thrive Richland has had in just a few short years. You will also hear from some special guests that are the shining examples of why we do what we do. Ms. Wiley?
Good evening.
Good evening.
What is Thrive Richland? Thrive Richland is a Birth to 5 initiative established by Richland One with the overall goal of increasing kindergarten readiness. Our core purpose is to ensure that potential students are academically, socially, physically, and emotionally ready for school. Numerous studies have demonstrated that children with access to quality early learning experiences and relationships are more prepared for kindergarten. They have increased vocabularies, better language, math and social skills, and more positive relationships with classmates, and they score higher on kindergarten readiness assessments. Thrive Richland's impact is huge. I can talk about it, I can go on and on about it, but I'm going to limit myself to addressing 5 focus areas. Number 1, high-quality early learning experiences. Thrive Richland hosts weekly play groups, including age-specific play groups, Baby and Me, Toddler Time, and Pre-K Play. This year, we were able to add another added benefit to our offerings, which is to provide transportation, which has been identified as a huge barrier for a lot of families. And so we've been able to add that this year. During these play groups, every child receives a free book for participating. Books are also distributed within the community in various ways. We've hosted Boo on the Bus, where our bus and our Thrive Richland team members go out in the community and provide students, or future students, hopefully, with books to build their home libraries. And we've also hosted Thrive Richland Elves, where books and age-appropriate toys were given to students within the communities as well. And one of the main things that we focused on is ensuring that we work alongside parents, reinforcing their role as their child's first teacher. Component number 2, comprehensive family wellness. This is the time where our nurse advocate works very closely with families, conducting our Parent Education and Support Network, which is affectionately known as PEAS. We also work to help families transition to kindergarten. And we also work with referrals, providing referrals to families for community resources. And at very special times of the year, we've offered families food baskets to help close the gap at certain times when things may become a little tough. Our nurse advocate and our family engagement specialists work really hard to assist families the best that they can, like Dr. Hagwood said, meeting them where they are, and also honoring the contributions that they bring as families. Component number 3, high-quality professional learning within our schools. We host our Early Learners Conference. We provide elbow-to-elbow, in-class support for our pre-kindergarten and 3K teachers. And we also host our ECD 101 cohort for instructional assistants and students who participate in the ECE classroom at Eau Claire High School. The individuals that successfully complete ECD 101 are also offered a stipend for their participation. Number 4, high-quality professional learning beyond our schools. We expanded the reach of our Early Learners Conference by making sure that we invite individuals from our child care centers within the Richland One footprint. And just as we do for our individuals within our district, child care providers that reside or that are housed within the Richland One footprint also get to participate in our ECD cohort, where we partner with Midlands Technical College to receive college credit. We offer Saturday training sessions, and in those sessions, individuals are able to receive training hours that are honored by South Carolina Endeavors. We provide on-site support for child care centers within our community, and we also have provided high-quality instructional resources within child care centers within the Richland One footprint that we've selected to work with. Point number 5, the Early Learning Lab Center planning. This proposed center will house birth to 5 classrooms. We'll also host visits from centers across the state that will allow them to see first-class, state-of-the-art offerings for young children. We will have a lending resource library for parents to select items, age-appropriate items for their children to use at home. We will have a food pantry, a donation closet for families in need of clothing items. We will also have a medical and a dental clinic. The proposed center will also offer family wellness classes. For instance, we'll have mommy and me time, maybe daddy and me time. We'll also have family yoga classes. And these are just some images of the playgroups that we've had at C.R. Neal Dream Center most recently. These numbers represent the hard work of our Thrive Richland staff and the families that have committed to start early, working with their children. Our greatest impact can best be described by our Thrive Richland participants. And we are overjoyed to have with us this evening Ms. Blaylock and Madison. Would you please welcome them?
Good evening, Chairwoman Harris, Superintendent Witherspoon, Commissioners, and all of you. It is with great pleasure that we stand before you this evening to offer insight to how Thrive Richland has made an impact on our lives. We began participating heavily in Thrive Richland activities during fall 2020. During this time, we participated in virtual playgroups because I wanted my daughter to have the opportunity to interact with other children and adults. I didn't want her to suffer from only child syndrome like me. My daughter really enjoyed the music and movement. She would even make her own song requests. She also enjoyed getting books each time she participated. She has well over 60 books in her home library. We also participated in the PAT program. Having that one-on-one interaction targeted specifically for our family allowed us to make sure that we had activities centered around literacy, numeracy, and social skills. Each time we met with our parent and family engagement specialists, we were given activities that mirrored the instruction that she was receiving in school. Lastly, I love the peace meetings with the nurse. She gave us insight to the developmental milestones that our children were approaching. She did a session on potty training. Nobody warned me about that. Her insight from the healthcare side of things reassured me that we were on track. I'm proud to say that when Madison took her KRA assessment this year, because she's in kindergarten, she was deemed ready for kindergarten.
Yes.
So Madison, what was your favorite part about playgroup?
My favorite thing about playgroup is getting books and getting snacks. And when I first started kindergarten, it was easy.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
That is cute. Wow. That is very cute. Wow. And we have one more. Ms. Anderson.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Janita Anderson, and I live in the Lower Richland community. My daughter now attends the 3K program at Gaston Elementary. She began with the Thrive program this past summer. She's a beautiful little girl that loves to learn. She loves books, and this program provided her a boost of confidence. She got those books every week in the mail, and she was excited because it had her name on it. The teachers are so involved with the students, even through the virtual learning. My daughter was very well prepared for school. She got exposed to instructor-led activities because she also is the only child. She did not participate in any daycares or anything like that. So the virtual learning was something definitely new and exciting for her. She was able to learn Spanish through the virtual playgroups. She can count up to 10, and she knows many words that mommy doesn't even know in Spanish. Now that playgroup is available at the C.R. Neal Dream Center, we are able to participate in person, where she is just not a face in the crowd. The teachers know her by name. They're excited to see her. She's excited to see them. She gets to make friends, like she says, and play all day, well, for an hour, and she loves it. My daughter also is very well prepared already for 4K. She's already been accepted. So we are definitely excited and very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk about a shout out. I want to take this time to publicly thank our partners, our parents for being here with us, because they didn't have to be here this evening. So we thank you for coming in and taking time to tell us about your experience with Thrive Richland. Thank you. Now, speaking about partnerships, we have a partnership with the C.R. Neal Dream Center and Bible Way Church of Atlas Road, Westminster Church on the other side of town, the Broad River Road side of town, so we're trying to reach as far as we can across the school district. We have partnerships with Midlands Technical College, Richland Library, and Richland County Recreation Commission.
That's awesome.
Now, at this time, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and publicly thank the Thrive Richland team, because there is nothing, not even a pandemic, that keeps them away from serving our students. You heard our parent, Ms. Blaylock, say, virtual playgroups, all of that continued during the pandemic. Wow. And they also did home visits, not going into the homes, but they would go and deliver the books and the age-appropriate toys to the students during the pandemic. But that's just a snippet of their work. Thrive Richland team, please stand.
Yes.
This is a few of them. They help us out in so many ways that I cannot even list how valuable they are to the work and to the reach of Richland School District 1 when it comes to serving our families and making sure that our students are ready for kindergarten. Now, I told you I wasn't going to talk long, and so I'm at the end of the presentation, but you may be asking, how can you stay connected with Thrive Richland? We have our social media presence. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and we're on Instagram. And we ask that you join us in our advocacy work by reposting and retweeting our information so that families around the district will know the work that is happening and what is available to their children ages birth to 5. And we also ask that you work with us to encourage your family members, your neighbors that live within Richland 1 to register their children for our birthday club. Children ages birth to 5 that register for our birthday club will receive a free book and a wonderful age-appropriate surprise the month of their birthday. And finally, we ask that you save the date, Saturday, September 29th, 2023, from 8:45 to 12:45 p.m., we will host our 5th annual Early Learners Conference. And we hope to see each of you there. Thank you.
We can give them a round of applause. I know at this time the floor is probably open for any questions or comments from the board. Let me just start first on behalf of the board. I want to thank the parents and little Miss Madison that came out to visit us on tonight. It means the world to this board when we get to engage with our students. So Madison, thank you so very much for your testimony on hearing from you what Thrive Richland has done for you. So let's give it up again for our parents. And then we need to give it up to this amazing team working with Thrive Richland, because it's so important. This is something we talk about all the time. And I remember a very good friend of mine, Commissioner Bishop, Commissioner Devine, our colleague, our mentor, Vince Ford. We would often talk about the foundation of the children. So this holds true to what we talked about many, many years ago, making sure our children have a strong foundation, because if the foundation is strong, they can do anything. And I can see Madison right now as the valedictorian of her high school, speaking probably several different languages, and we may be a little old by the end, but at the end of the day, we already see Madison's success. And just to hear over 2,800 something students have been impacted already by this program, that is simply amazing, Richland One. Dr. Witherspoon, thank you. Thank your team. Thank Dr. Hagwood, all of you for what you do. I'm going to open the floor. I'm going to stop now, but I'm going to open the floor and allow opportunity for my colleagues to chime in this conversation. Commissioner Bishop.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You mentioned our mentor and longtime serving commissioner, and I think it was at Lower Richland. Mm-hmm. We asked this question. Vince Ford said, "Are you for the kids or are you kidding?" Richland One is for the children. They are for the kids. Mm-hmm. And this is evidence that we don't come to play politics. We come to present options and opportunities for our children. And so I want to definitely congratulate this team, Thrive Richland, for doing such an amazing job. I may have one question, because you mentioned on slide number 2, I think it was, community resources. Can you tell us a little more about that? Because it does take a village to raise a child, right? And I know as you are preparing for the early learning conference, those academies, daycares, they're raising children just like us. So tell me a little more about what those resources look like for people who are in our network.
Are you speaking of resources for child development centers, right?
Yeah,
or families?
I think if you go, can you put the slide back up? It says in number 2, go all the way to the front of the presentation. Keep going. Keep going. One more.
Here we go.
Referrals to community resources.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
what does that look like?
So if we have families that come in and they express a need, it could go from needing food,
Mm-hmm.
clothing, diapers, medical, a medical appointment,
Yeah.
or just concerns about their child possibly not meeting a developmental milestone, then Dr. Leggett and her team will work with the family through our nurse advocate to connect them. We don't just point them in the right direction.
Good job.
The nurse advocate stays with them, and they ensure and follow up to make sure that the family gets the help that they need from whatever the resource is that they're asking for.
Well, I appreciate that, because I believe as we do an assessment of not just a child, but as of the family needs, and you look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, shelter
Yep.
is like critical. And so as a child is looking to come and learn, the family may be struggling with
Yep.
shelter.
That's right.
And so when I see that, I think that's very valuable. that Richland One is willing to help mobilize or refer resources so that the child can just learn. You know, it's hard being an adult, and adulting is real. You know, we have to do a lot to take care of our homes, our children, just so the children can come to school and learn. So I thought that was very critical in design for what we do as a district. So I want to definitely highlight that, because I think when you do the early learning conference, that hopefully you can share that with those daycares or academies that are showing up April 29th,
Yes.
so that the challenges that they're facing, we can help. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any additional questions? Commissioner Clyburn?
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for that presentation. I knew it was a wonderful program, but it's good to see the evidence of what this program is meaning to Richland One in our community. I wanted to ask a question about, how following the track of the child. You mentioned that earlier. I think the parent, Miss Michaela's mom, is it Michaela? See, that's why she didn't say Madison. I'm sorry. I knew it was an M.A. But Madison's mom was talking about saying that she was already ready, it was deemed ready for kindergarten. Just following that track of the child, do you already have a model in place to, follow that on up through maybe high school and beyond, to see how this program is affecting or contributing to their success?
So we don't have it in place right now, but funny you should ask. Dr. Hagwood and I have been discussing a way for us to track and monitor the students as they matriculate through Richland One. We have the information on the students once they enter pre-K, because we assist them with even pre-K registration, kindergarten registration. But we have that information, but being able to track them all the way through school, that's something that we are looking at.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Good to hear. Thank you.
Commissioner Bishop?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, back to the referral of community resources. I think I'm so, that is critical. So April 29th, you all are bringing in other child care centers to help train them and develop them. I think I attended that 5 years ago, when y'all initiated that. And it was great to see so many other daycares academies come to partner with Richland One. Because at the end of the day, all the children in this footprint are coming to our schools. And so if we don't partner with these academies or these child cares, we aren't helping prepare the child or bring the child to readiness. So back to community resources. I was formulating my question so you have context. Dr. Witherspoon, I'm pretty sure that in the totality of this district, we can't necessarily touch every child from 0 to 5. But we're making an effort to touch as many as we can, right?
That's correct.
With the balance of students that we can't put in our programs or in our schools from 0 to 5 with Thrive or any program that we have, are we able to refer?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and the referral system, does it have any like certification or official partnership with those academies or those schools that say they've been to Thrive, Richland training?
No,
Okay, all right.
not right now.
All right. Is there any consideration for that? Because if we can't touch every child, but we're touching every center, then the bridge and partnership kind of gives weight or credibility that these directors, these staff, these people have been trained to kind of build opportunities for our children to learn or be ready for K. If I'm just dreaming here, I'm just, trying to think of solution-based conversation, that's all.
You're not actually, I remember you asking that question a few years ago, and we have looked for ways to we stopped short, to be honest with you, of certifying and things of that sort, because legally, I think we have to be careful of that, right?
Yes.
But we do allow those child care centers that partner with us and complete our training, and their directors come to our forums, and we're working with on site. We have a coach that goes into their classrooms and coach their teachers.
Good.
And they use resources that we've selected. They can tell their parents that they partner with us, because that is the truth. And we are proud to invest because our children are in those facilities. And we want to make sure that they're getting the very best education as possible, early education as possible. So partnership, absolutely. We'll sing it from the mountaintop. We just stopped short of certification, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get it. Not certification, maybe that's the wrong word, but partnership, saying we work together for the child. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Devine, before I get to Commissioner Devine, though, I did want to tag on something to Commissioner Clyburn's sentiments about tracking the students. I think, Dr. Witherspoon, it was about 5 years ago, we started the 3-year-old program at Gaston when we piloted. And I do know, even though we don't have the tangible numbers, when you're from a community, you know who those children were. Those are some of the top performing 8-year-olds right now in that school. So we see the results of that, even that pre-3-year-old program, that these kids, you get them in early, they are performing, they're reading on grade level and beyond. Even though there's no paper to show where those kids are, being there that with that year, when we first launched the 3-year-old program, and identifying those children and those families, and knowing those families just from personal testimonies to me, those kids are at the top of their game. So we know it's working, what we're doing. So I'm appreciative that you asked that question.
And
Really.
before Commissioner Devine said something, just to, follow up on that aspect of what you just said, I can just imagine a future sometime if we have a different board makeup or what have you. They may not see a need for Thrive Richland, but just having the data and, just something to look back on and say, this is the difference that program is making because of what these students are accomplishing now. That, to me, is invaluable, when it comes to validating or justifying keeping something on. So that's why I was asking that.
Question.
So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good question. Commissioner Devine?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the staff for the presentations they presented tonight. Do want to ask a few questions, and thank you for aligning us to our strategic plan, as always. I'm big on strategic plan and where we're going, and that we continue that, and we're meeting those targets, and we know where our baseline was, and now we know where we're going. So with that said, what are some challenges that we have with the early childhood area?
Ms. Wiley may be able, she'll add to this, but I think for us, I think the challenges sort of describe why we do this, right? We have children that don't necessarily receive the same care sometimes and the same learning opportunities as some of our other children. And that makes it difficult for them when they come to school when they're 5. And so that's why we do all of this, so that we're able to reach out to parents and, like we said, meet them where they are, because they don't necessarily are ready. They're not necessarily ready to come into the school. But when we go out and we develop these relationships with them early on, from the time their children are babies and toddlers, then they become a part of the Richland One family. And so while it is a challenge that our children come to us with a myriad of needs, we believe that we have a comprehensive plan to address that challenge.
Thank you. How can teachers maximize learning outcomes for these children?
Well, Commissioner Devine, one of the first things that we always look at is, like Dr. Hagwood said, meeting the students where they are, so having an understanding of where the student is when they come to us, and also making sure that when it comes to the instruction that we provide within our 4K classrooms, making sure that we are providing standards aligned instruction. That's number one. That's one of the best things that our teachers can do. And then also having an understanding that in the early childhood ages, our students come to us at varying levels, and it is our responsibility, once they cross the threshold of a school district in Richland 1, to make sure that they understand where the child is developmentally, understanding where they currently are and where they're supposed to be. And that's being, having a curious mind, do a diagnostic assessing of our students, progress monitoring our students, and again, ensuring that we are providing standards-based instruction as provided by the State Department of Education.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then lastly, we talked back in 2019, I just happen to have one of my old books. And this kind of goes to Commissioner Bishop's question. We talked about increasing the percentage of A-rated child care centers located in Richland 1. Do we have any data on that?
We do. That is one area that has challenged us because, number one, the pandemic came. And the center, one of the centers that we were working with was very shy of receiving their A rating. Countless hours of support was provided to the centers that were selected to work with us. It's just that the pandemic, and I know we don't want to use that as an excuse, but it's the reality. And that's an area that we're looking to continue to work on and continue to provide support to child care centers. That's one of the reasons why the sessions that we're offering, they focus on what it takes to be, not all of the sessions, but many of the sessions focus on what it is to provide high quality child care, not just quality, but high quality.
Very good. Thank you, and thank you again for the presentation. I look forward to continued success of this program. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are there any additional questions or comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, thank you all so very much for your presentation. We'll now move on to the Office of Human Resources with 9-1, which is our HR personnel updates. Dr. Long.
Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, Dr. Witherspoon, the personnel human resource updates were provided for you all during the executive session as information.
This is an information item. The floor is open for any additional questions or comments. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on to 9-2, which is the administrative hire. Dr. Long.
The administration recommends hiring Dr. Sandra Brazard to the position of Chief of Teaching and Learning for the 22-23 academic year. The administration so recommends.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Devine, second by Commissioner Bishop. We'll open the floor for question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote, and we're doing this manual. Okay, we can do this one electronically. Vote is unanimous. The administrative hire has been approved. Thank you so much, Dr. Long. We'll now move on to 9-3, hiring of personnel. Dr. Long.
The administration recommends hiring the teachers on the attached list for the 2022-23 academic year and for the 23-24, excuse me, 23-24 year. There are 3 teachers listed for this current year and 2 for next year. The administration so recommends.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Myers, second by Commissioner Devine. We'll now open the floor for question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote electronically. Let the record reflect the vote is unanimous and the hiring of personnel as previously stated in 9.3 has been approved. We'll now move to the office of the board, which is 10.1, student appeal.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, and Dr. Witherspoon. In the case of the appeal for the student with initials MB, the administration recommends that the hearing office decision stands. The administration so recommends.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Devine, second by Commissioner Clyburn. We'll open the floor for question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote and we will clarify the vote. A yes vote means that the ruling of the district will stand. A nay vote means that the ruling of the district fails. Okay, we will vote at this time and we will vote electronically. Okay, this vote will be taken manually. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those that oppose say nay. The ayes have it. The vote is unanimous. The motion as previously stated by Dr. Smalls on behalf of the district does stand. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Smalls. Well, you got another one. I'm sorry. 10.2, parent request to be heard. Dr. Smalls.
The administration recommends the board not hear the appeal on behalf of the student with initials MW.
Okay,
The administration so recommends.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I moved to not hear the parent appeal.
You're making a motion to not hear?
That is correct.
Is that that's the district
That's
motion?
their recommendation, but my motion is to not hear.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, is there a second? Okay, your motion failed. Okay, we'll go back to the original motion. The motion is, again, Dr. Smalls?
That's recommendation.
The administration recommends the board not hear the appeal on behalf of the student with initials MW.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Chairwoman Harris, I move that we hear the parent request to
Okay.
appeal.
There's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lomanak. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been seconded by Commissioner Myers. We'll now open the floor for question or discussion. The motion on the floor now is from Commissioner Lomanak to hear the parent appeal, the student appeal. Floor is now open for question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote electronically. Waiting on someone. Let the record reflect that the motion passed to hear the appeal of the parent. The vote is 6 yeas and 1 nay. Thank you so much, Dr. Smalls. We'll now move on to 10.3, board report. This is an opportunity for a board member to speak on activities that the board has been involved in, other than our normal activities, which include our chat with the chair, where we have lunch with our middle school and high school students, and we spend time in our buildings with our kids, as well as lunch buddies, or things that the board already continuously do. At this time, we'll open the floor for any additional reports from any board member. Okay, no reports, but Dr. Witherspoon, I do want to just say thank you for a great ribbon cutting ceremony on yesterday at Carver Lion. If you missed it, you missed an amazing, packed out event of parents and staff, community leaders from the county, the city that was present to celebrate our expansion of our language immersion program. And if you all recorded that, and I know, knowing Karen York, she did, it would be available out there. I would love for you to go and take a listen to our students talk to us in Mandarin. We knew none of what they were saying, but it was just amazing to hear them sing as well as do full speeches in Mandarin, in French, and in Spanish. So please take a listen. You will be delighted to witness that for yourself. Seeing that there are no additional board reports, we will move on to 10-4, which is our 2022-23 Board Superintendent District Goals. You all were provided with a list of the goals as we had previously discussed in our previous meeting, that we asked the superintendent to come back with some district goals for us to have that would align to our strategic plan for the duration of the 2022-23 school year. And these goals were presented to us. At this time, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the goals.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Myers to approve the goals, and there's been a second by Commissioner Devine. We'll now open the floor for question and discussion. Commissioner Lominack.
Thank you, Chairwoman Harris. I just want to note, it was listed as an information item. Does that pose any problem in terms of voting? Yeah, just on the agenda, I know it's been listed as information, so I'm wondering if we need to.
Parliamentary.
We need to make it an action item.
Y'all do pardon us. We're having some issues with board docs. That's why some things we can vote on, some things we cannot vote on. Is there a motion to, we need to change it?
Well, if I could, I'm going to move to table this until our February 24th work session. And here's what I'm thinking is, these aren't, listen, studies show that when boards set student performance goals to measure superintendents by, students do better. But we need to set the goals. And I think that that's going to take a conversation among us about what things do we care about most. For example, teacher retention is not on here at all. Career college readiness is not on here at all. And then come up with, once we've developed the categories of things that we think are most important to improve student achievement in this district, then the board needs to come up with the SMART goals, specific, measurable, realistic goals. And I think one of the places we start with is the presentation that was presented on December 16th, where we've got district performance goals that they gave to us. I think we need to really change some of those. I don't think it's realistic to have 90% career college ready by the end of next school year and things like that. I would recommend that we come back on February 24th, spend that whole day doing nothing but setting goals for the remainder of this year and 2024. In fact, I think that we should start with 2024 because the district has given us their 2024 goals and then work backwards from there for realistic goals for the end of this school year. But I just don't think that these 4 goals, one of which isn't measurable and is already, nothing can be done about it the rest of this year, students already enrolled in AP classes or they're not, I just don't think these capture what I believe would be a fuller evaluation of any superintendent of a school district. Thank you, Chairwoman Harris. So I would move that we table this until February 24th.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor to table the discussion. It's been properly seconded by Commissioner Weston. We will now open the floor for question or discussion. And I would like to, Commissioner Lominack, respond to your statement. If you recall, these 4 items are in addition to what we've already discussed. I think it's very important that we realize what Dr. Witherspoon presented to us. You all asked for some things that was measurable. These are the measurable items being added to what we already have. So to come back on the 24th of February, that's a month from now. And we need to have something in play now that we can be measuring, that by the end of the year, we can be able to look and track whether or not we've met those goals or not. I think, and I'll say it again, I think we're getting a lot of things really confused because before when we met, we talked about the strategic plan, and that is the overall goals of the entire district, which is set by all of us. In that presentation, it was requested that the superintendent provide us some measurables that we could measure for the year. He's now come back with those measurables, and we want to table the discussion. So I'm a little confused as to whether or not we want to move forward, or do we want to just keep going back and forth over what the goals look like. On February 24th, that meeting at the request of this board has not been outlined to be a full discussion of board goals. Okay, that is a work session that is aligned to do other things that the board has to do and they're on the clock for. However, in March, we've already gotten with Eva to set up an opportunity for us to do what you're requesting. So I'm going to ask that we remain in sync with each other, that we can continue to move Richland 1 forward and not stop progress. Is there any additional comments or questions from anyone, or any clarity that needs to be made as to the 4 items you are receiving on tonight? Are those things we asked the superintendent to bring us? Bring us back some measurables on top of what you've already given us. So that's in addition to what you've already received. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But so these are in addition to. So we're voting to include this in what we've already had. We can't set goals for a school district in the middle of a school year. Commissioner Myers?
Madam Chair, let me point of clarification.
Thank
What
you.
is your motion?
To table until February 24th.
And let me take full responsibility. You cannot debate a motion to table, so you got to immediately go to vote.
Okay.
Sorry, that's on me. I missed that.
So we need to go to vote on whether or not we're going to, okay.
Table it.
Do we need to do it electronically or manually? All those in favor of tabling this discussion to February the 24th, say aye. And we need to do it manually because it's not set in the system.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, the nays have it, so we will not be tabling this. We'll go back to the original motion, which is to approve the board superintendent and district goals for the remainder of the 2022-23 year being added in addition to what we already have. There was a motion on the floor. It was properly second. Is there any additional discussion at this time before we go to that?
Mr.
Attorney Boykins.
Attorney Boykins, this is an information item, inadvertently information versus action.
True.
So do we need to, I think we can do it, but I just need to get clarification. Do we need to make this an action item because this is pending, and then we can move forward with any vote that comes before the board?
They'll get it.
The thing is on.
It's already live.
You're correct.
Okay, so at this time, Madam Chair, you should entertain a motion to make this an action item to put any motion up on the floor at this point.
Are you making a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we make this an action item to approve the 2022-23 Board Superintendent District Goals as presented by you.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Devine to make this an action item.
That's it.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Myers. We will now open the floor for question or discussion. Commissioner Lomanak.
Are we discussing the substance of this or just whether or not we're making an action item?
Yeah, just.
All right, never mind.
Okay, we'll now call for the vote. Seeing no further discussion. On making it an action item. Would you like for us to take it manually? Yes. Okay. All those in favor of making this an action item, say aye. Aye. Those that oppose, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. So we will go back now to the original motion, which is to accept the goals as previously outlined. It's already been motioned, well, it was motioned and properly second, but however, we needed to make it an action item first. So is there a motion to now approve the items as previously stated?
I make a motion to approve the items that previously was stated. Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Myers to approve the 10-4-2022-23 Board Superintendent District Goals. It's been properly second by Commissioner Clyburn. We'll open the floor now for question or discussion. Commissioner Weston.
In looking at what you said, for example, take number 2, I still don't see a measurable goal there. It's an action to increase, but by how much? And when you're asking about 3 to 5 percentages, 1 to 2 percentages, if we look at that, we will never reach the net or even exceed at this rate.
Okay, Commissioner West, you got me a little confused. We're not doing a met or exceed with district goals. We're looking at growth. That's the way we set our goals. Okay, so and a lot of times when we set our goals, it's over the course of years that we're going towards where it is we want to reach. So, but I do want to stop and go back to the 2 where it says take strategic actions to increase the percentage of African American males participating in the advanced placement program. Dr. Witherspoon, do you have a percentage for that?
Madam Chair, members of the board, what we do with these types of items, I think one of the commissioners just alluded to it. We are in the middle of this year, so those courses and all those things have been set. And generally, as we conclude a fiscal year, academic year, and you all take a look at that, we provide the current, which is there, and then what that growth or what that movement has been. That's how we have done that. But we can certainly provide those. Some of that was provided last Friday in the board update as a follow-up with dual enrollment. That was not the totality of that, but some of that, for example, was provided in last Friday's update.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. Commissioner Weston?
Excuse me for not understanding it, but if we did this for teachers or employees of the district to set these kinds of goals, then it's easy to strategize, to say these are the actions we're taking and we want to move them in that direction. But when we're doing that, the effort, if we got a baseline, then the effort that we're doing, that step is not large enough to say we're making growth looking for 2024, 2026, anything else, because at that rate, we will never get there.
Dr. Witherspoon, would you like to respond?
Yes, Madam Chair, and as further discussion has gone on about this, we do set those goals from a strategic standpoint to reach. And some of those are stretch and where we want to go. But if we look at year to year and you look at research in terms of how progress is made and growth, there's not a 20 point in 1 year. There's not a 10 point in 1 year. There is that incremental growth to get where you need to be. And as a follow-up, what was said, in terms of some of the goals that we had from a strategic plan standpoint and working toward those. There was some information sent about maybe 2 weeks ago on Friday of some recommended changes to some of those strategic plan goals based on some conversation and discussion that was held at the November work session in terms of, I think as one of the commissioners has just said, 90%, are we going to reach that in 24? So we did recommend some adjustments, and that's being made through AARE, and that information was shared. And to your point, in terms of are we going to get in 24 1 year a 20-point again jump and so forth, that does not happen. But as the chair has said, we do look at incremental growth where we are and set those. And also in one of the work sessions, and we've talked about this in December, one of the upcoming work sessions is to talk to and share with the board how we set those goals, based on what we have and how that manifests itself in schools and in classrooms, and how those are set based upon these, so there is some alignment.
Any additional questions at this time? Commissioner Lomanak.
Thank you, Chairman Harris. I think it's the board's duty to set the goals, not the superintendent's. And we do that in consultation with the administration, but we should be the ones setting the goals. We are the employer. We're the supervisor. We are the ones that are supposed to be holding the superintendent to account, and we're not setting the goals. The district has told us that by the end of next year, 80% will pass SC ready in grades 3 through 8. If we meet our goal this year, we will have 20% to go. We're not paying attention to these goals. We're not making them realistic. I think we're abdicating our responsibility. I am shocked that there's not a teacher retention goal. There's not a single measurable goal regarding keeping our teachers, so none of these goals matter. We have 100 teacher classroom vacancies right now, at least. That's more than we had this time last year. So we are going to start next year with more vacancies than we just started, and yet we don't have a goal to address that. We will never address something if we aren't setting measurable goals to attack it. And we also have equity problems because we have an SC ready pass score of an increase of 3 to 5%. But if one school goes up 10% and one school doesn't improve at all, then it looks like we improved and we met our goal. But that doesn't help the schools that need the most support. And I mentioned this at the last board meeting. I think we need to have a range of goals so that we can make sure that no school goes below a certain amount without it being flagged by us and without us really taking note and noticing that. But these December 16th goals do not align with the goals we've just been provided, the 3.5 goals that we've just been provided. This is not the way to create an evaluation matrix to accurately push student achievement forward. It's just not. To not have a specific percentage of career and college-ready goals is a joke. We've got 90% graduation rate and 45% of kids are neither college or career ready. It's shocking to me that we're not paying attention to that number and setting a goal that's higher than 55%. The gap between that is extraordinary. I really do think we've got to set more and better goals than this if we're going to even pretend to be taking our responsibilities to push student achievement seriously.
Are you're done?
Thank you,
Ms.
Chairman
Lomax?
Harris.
Okay. Dr. Witherspoon, did you want to address any of that? I do want to ask you this question because it was mentioned that the schools don't have individual goals for growth. Do we not have that in place?
We do.
So every school has a strategic plan as well.
That is correct.
Okay. So overall, all of those numbers are combined to show where the district is moving as a total district when it comes to this particular goal metrics we're talking about.
That is correct.
Okay. And let me ask you about the college and career readiness. Are we at 40%?
No. Career ready and was at 53% last year. I think that's about a significant increase from the prior year. As well.
Now, let me ask you a question since we're talking about this, and this is for clarification. The way the state system is set up when it comes to college and career readiness, we can have a child that is college ready and career ready, but we only get credit for one, correct?
What Dr. Minor presented in December.
Right, which is saying that it doesn't matter if student A is college and career readiness ready, we only get credit for one based on the State Department's rubric.
That is what she indicated.
Okay. Is there any other questions about the goals that we have before? Because I had some other questions, but I just want this to stay germane to what's in front of us because that is what we are voting on tonight. Commissioner Myers?
Just for clarifications, I don't know exactly who can answer this question. Is there any other district that have a goal set talking about any teachers' goals and the district goals, strategy goals?
From a strategic plan, yes, ma'am. I can say Greenville has that. Greenville has similar goals. And don't forget, this is only 1/7 of the superintendent's evaluation. This is not all of the evaluation. There's 6 other parts. This is just 1/7 of the total evaluation that we take a look at.
Right.
So I do want to let everybody be reminded of that. This is only 1/7 of the goal setting that we do for the superintendent as well.
Thank you for clarification.
So the retention part is in the original goals of retaining teachers and all of that. That's a part of our
Correct.
Okay. Dr. Witherspoon? Right.
Yes,
okay. Any additional questions? Commissioner Lomax.
I want to clarify, the number I said about college or career ready is correct. According to the district in December, 55.4% were either college or career ready. What I said was 45% are neither of those. It doesn't help the 45% that neither, that some others are both. And I really want us to focus on decreasing that 45% that graduate from Richland 1 and are neither college or career ready. They're not either one of them. And I think that's a number we have got to decrease. So I wanted to point out that my numbers were correct based on what the district gave us in December.
Right, and to your point, Commissioner Lomanak, in that discussion, I do recall Dr. Witherspoon discussing with this board what the plan and course of action was to increase those numbers, especially after we learned that we were getting dinged, if you want to call it that. If a kid had a college and a career readiness, we only got credit for one. And I do remember some discussion around that at that December meeting on the course of action and the strategic plan to move the district out of that category, now that we know we're not getting credit for both on a student. I'm sorry, Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. District-wide, we pay attention to all areas of the strategic plan. But again, the board has asked, okay, in a specific year or a specific period of time, some of those focus areas. So I would say the same in terms of teacher retention. That's in the strategic plan. Those are paid attention to in terms of, and that we do provide information to the board. Again, whether that's at certain times of the year, retreats, and so forth. So just about every aspect of the strategic plan, which includes retention, which includes college and career readiness, which includes graduation rate, which includes SC ready, which includes end of course testing. I don't know if I said kindergarten readiness or not, but which includes that. And all of those aspects are paid attention to and are tracked, and the board is provided updates on those several times during the year. And my understanding is, again, if we look at any particular given year or what have you, there are those that we have pay attention to, maybe even prioritize or what have you. But everything is in the strategic plan is indeed looked at and addressed, and those updates are indeed provided. So it's not like any aspect of the strategic plan is not paid attention to and is not looked at. It is.
Okay, is there any other discussion or question before we take the vote on approving the goals? Commissioner Devine?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Witherspoon, I do hear my colleague, and I do want to lend my voice to what he is saying in regards to the what goal is that? College and career readiness. If we look at performance goal number 3, we did talk about this at the December 16th board meeting, work session. Right now, there is a motion on the floor to approve the goals. I'd like to make a motion that we add performance goal number 3 to increase the number of students that students who are graduating with a high school diploma will demonstrate college and/or career readiness, increase up to 60%. Because right now we're at 55.4, which is increased by 5%. Add that goal to the current goal.
So it'll be number 5.
So it'll be number 5. So that's my motion. My motion is to add goals to take strategic action, and I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me, take strategic action to increase the number of students who are graduating with a high school diploma will demonstrate college and career readiness by 60%.
By 60%?
Yes.
Yes, there's a motion.
Right now we're at 55.4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor to add goal number 5, to take strategic action to increase our college and career readiness from 55.4% to 60%. It's been properly seconded by Commissioner Bishop. We will now open the floor for question or discussion, and remember, we have to vote on this before going back to the main motion. Question or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay. The ayes have it. We are adding goal number 5 in regards as it relates to college and career readiness from 55.4% to 60%. And this is a part of the 2022-23 school year goals. Okay? Everybody got that? Okay, now we're going back to our original motion to approve the goals that were presented on tonight. Instead of it being 4 goals now, it's now 5 goals. It's been motioned, it's been properly second. We've done question and discussion. Is there any additional discussion on these items before we call for the final vote? Commissioner Weston.
In looking at this, and again, I'm new, as a board member, you're saying that I'm going to be measured on these goals because you have board, superintendent, and district goals. Shouldn't it be just superintendent and district goals, and we as a board oversee that?
I can speak to that. Guys, your request, when Dr. Witherspoon presented the board, superintendent, and district goals, believe it or not, we are part of the district too. So the superintendent's goals are our goals as well. This came with this heading because this was the subject in which we discussed this under, to add these goals to that. And that's what we placed in there because you all asked for measurables. So if there's anyone else that want to discuss, the naming of the goals or whatnot, we'll open the floor for that. But these are the board, superintendent, and the district's goals because we are part of this too. Any additional comment or conversation? Any additional discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, are we ready to call for the vote?
Call for the question.
Thank you. We're back to the original motion as to approve the now 5 goals as previously stated. We would do this manually? Oh, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose say nay.
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it. The vote is 5-2. The 5 goals, as previously stated, have been approved for the duration of the 22-23 year. We'll now move on to 10.5, which is the facility naming presentation by Dr. Eunice Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners, Commissioner Harris, Cabinet members, and Dr. Witherspoon. I have the distinct pleasure tonight of presenting to you the results of the Early Childhood Facility Naming Committee. As a result of this committee's work, the administration is recommending the following. Number 1, that the Early Childhood Learning Center be named in memory of Mr. Henry Vincent Ford. Number 2, that the facility be named Vincent Ford Early Learning Center. Number 3, that there be a plaque or information in the entry or foyer area citing his full name, biographical information, information about his Richland 1 impact, and that the phrase, "Power the Children," be included either in the plaque or in the information, or preferably as part of the decor of the foyer or entranceway. The administration so recommends. I'd also, if you don't mind, I'd also like to take just a moment to recognize and thank the committee members that are present with us, if they could stand. Pastor Cameron DeBrew, Beulah Baptist Church.
Yes.
Dr. Ronald Epps, former Richland 1 superintendent. Ms. Bernice Scott, active community member. Ms. Angela Burns, principal, Creighton Middle School. And Commissioner Jamie Devine, Richland 1 board member. Thank you.
You've heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Bishop, and it's been seconded by Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Clyburn. We'll now open the floor for question or discussion. Commissioner
Chair.
Devine?
Thank you. At this time, do want to say thank you to this committee. Thank you, first of all, for your leadership in putting this together. And then secondly, thank you for the committee who met and they've been introduced, and we appreciate that. Also, we have in the audience tonight Patricia Ford and Robin Ford. If they would please stand. Pat's Vince's wife and Robin's Vince's daughter. We thank you all for being here tonight. Let's give them a round of applause for coming tonight, too. Thank you. Both graduates of this great institution, this great school district. Robin from the Keenan High School, and Miss Pat, I forgot. That's right, New Jersey. Okay, I'm sorry. But Benedict College graduate, too. There you go. And Vince, of course, graduate AC Flora High School.
And Marcus
Keenan. Keenan as well, his son. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. Thank you for all that, we appreciate what Brother Ford did for us. And again, I am glad to add my name to the list and to vote for this prestigious honor. So thank you, Madam Chair.
I want to thank Commissioner Devine for taking over my meeting. Then took all my thunder. But we want to thank also Ms. Ford and Robin for being here on tonight. And thank you for 24 solid years of support that you allowed your husband and your father to be a leader to this district. And I will say what my colleague just said is with great pleasure that I vote on this because he was so deserving of this and so much more. Because as he always said, how are the children? And he planted that in us. And we can't get away from that if we wanted to. He would tell us, keep the baby on the table. When you're having your discussions and your questions, keep the baby on the table. And we appreciate that. We appreciate what he taught us, Aaron. When it comes to being a true servant for public education, not having hidden agendas, but making sure that the agenda was always about the success of all children and success in every corner and every crevice of the district, not just uptown, but downtown, around town, out of town, and even if you could go under the town. That was who he was, and that's what he stood for. And this is a great honor tonight to be able to vote. I know he is smiling tonight because he deserves this. We'll open the floor for any additional questions.
Madam Chair, to the Ford family, thank you. Vince Ford always told me two of the most powerful words that was put together was thank you. This is definitely an appreciation to his legacy, his leadership, and his life. Can't wait to see it erected in his name, and definitely see the first child to the last child, to every child, come in under that quote. How are the children? And for those who don't know, the response is, all the children are well.
Right.
That's the most important part. All the children. And if you ever get the most powerful part of that phrase is all. Mm-hmm. When you measure all, that means all. So that's our measurement. Not a percentage.
That's right.
Not a number, but all. So good evening to you.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, hearing, Commissioner Devine.
I do want to take a moment of special privilege to recognize Ms. Sheila Washington, also in the audience as well with the Ford family, and Ms. Rachel Phelps, also here with the Ford family. So thank you, ladies, for being here and supporting this family as well. And then to his big brother and mentor, Dr. Epps, appreciate you being here and steadfast and being on this committee, and also to Pastor DeBrew. Thank you so much for being here and hosting us as well. So thank you again. And to Ms. Williams, thank you for your leadership and your guidance and making this happen for us as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Bishop.
Just a moment of liberty, please. Okay, I know you got the words, how are the children there? Can you squeeze 3 times all Reed Street somewhere?
That'll come later.
Yeah, that'll be later. That'll be later, Jamie.
Yeah.
We just for the joy of his memory. He was always known as 3 times Aubrey Street, so.
Not 4, not 2.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 times Aubrey Street. All right.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Bishop. As you see the humorous side come out of us, it was a blessing to sit under his tutelage. And if you didn't get to experience it, to some of my colleagues that I often share, you missed out on a dynamic opportunity. You know, the way he stood when he was in the presence of even other school districts, he was always poised with a book under his arm. As they would say, the idle mind was the devil workshop. Vince didn't have that moment. Vince kept a book with him. We'd go to dinner and Vince had a book. He might not open it, but just in case there was a dull moment, he would open that book. And I appreciate him. I appreciate his legacy. I appreciate you, Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Bishop, because we promised to keep his legacy alive. And I think he's proud tonight to see that that is the case. There is a motion before us on tonight to approve the naming of our Early Childhood Center, the Vincent Ford Early Childhood Center. We will now call for the vote. And we can do this one electronically. Let the record reflect the vote is unanimous for the board members that are present. The vote is 6 yeas and there's 1 not present. Mr. Lobanak is not present at this time. The motion does pass. We look forward, Dr. Witherspoon, to our upcoming groundbreaking as we prepare to open the Vincent Ford Early Childhood Center. Thank you. We'll now move on to 11, which is the Office of the Superintendent, with our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and I too want to certainly give much due respect to the Ford family and to the board and the committee for their work, and to the Ford family as well. We have a couple of other opportunities to invite you to be to continue to be a part of the Richland One family in the upcoming weeks and months, groundbreaking, state of the district, and so forth. So we will continue to lift up the family and continue to stay in touch with you. And thank you all so very much. Madam Chair, members of the board, there were a few events that have occurred over the past few weeks. We had a 9th grade assembly for boys and girls, young men, young women, on going for the goal, and that is our theme for this year, and ensuring that our students are on track to graduate, college and career readiness, and the like. That was held on January 18th and 19th at Eau Claire High School. I want to thank all of the individuals and departments that were in our schools that were a part of putting this event together. We got some great feedback from our young men, our young women over that 2-day period, that commitment to graduate, that commitment to stay engaged, do the right thing. So thank all of our departments and all those individuals for that. We also had this past Saturday the We Are One Family Engagement Summit that was held on Saturday, January 21st at Creighton Middle School. Had various sessions for students, for families, and again, our Parent and Family Engagement Department that put that on, and we've done that throughout the year in different parts of the district, and had various sessions from students and parents working with their students. We had our own Mr. Brown do a session for parents about safety and security from a parent perspective, and giving some high-level things that we do in the district, and there were plenty of other sessions. So again, thank those individuals that put that together. And the chair recently did mention this evening about the ribbon-cutting ceremony for our language immersion edition at Carver Lyon Elementary School, and that was yesterday afternoon. Thanks to our facilities department, Mr. Carlin, your shop, Mr. Perkins, and all involved with that, architects. Wonderful addition, and board members, that goes back to probably about 6-7 years ago when you all voted to for us to implement the language immersion program, and we've grown that from its infancy, literally at that time, to now cascade up into the middle grades. But it was a wonderful experience to hear our young people speak Mandarin, speak Spanish, and our students to demonstrate that immersion mastery at that level. And it's a wonderful addition, and we will continue to grow that program. Congratulations to Columbia High School as well as Dreher High School on being honored by the College Board for achieving high female representation in AP Computer Science classes. Dreher was recognized in the AP Computer Science A category, and Columbia High was recognized in the AP Computer Science Principles category. 2 more of our Richland 1 teachers have earned National Board Certification, which is the highest credential available in the teaching profession. Congratulations to Emma Bell and Sarah Suber of Meadowfield Elementary School. They joined 202 other Richland 1 teachers as National Board Certified teachers. In addition to our new National Board Certified teachers, 20 Richland 1 teachers have earned the Maintenance of Certification, which is a 5-year extension of their current certification's expiration date. Their names and schools are posted on our website. We want to remind our students, parents, and staff that we are seeking feedback on 2 draft calendars for the 2023-2024 school year. The calendar survey link is posted on our website, and we ask everyone to please take a few minutes to view the draft calendars and complete the survey by Friday, January 27th. And just one note on the calendar, we do appreciate the work of our calendar committee, and as you review those 2 drafts, note there is a start date before, in both drafts, start date proposed that's before that 3rd Monday. We did seek and receive approval to start prior to that date, and other districts in the state is following suit as well. Lastly, Madam Chair, members of the board, as I noted at our last board meeting, the Winter Career Fair will be held this Saturday, January 28th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at W.J. Keenan High School. We have career opportunities available for certified and classified staff, and it is not too late for interested persons to register for the career fair. The registration deadline is tomorrow, January 25th. Go to our website at www.richland1.org/careers for more information and to register. Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Dr. Witherspoon, thank you so very much for your report on tonight. We will now open the floor for any additional questions or comments for the superintendent. Okay, I do want to back up. We don't have any questions for you on tonight, Doc, but I.
No.
Do you have a question, Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I looked your way and you didn't have your hand up.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Doing some quick research.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just want to just say again, and you recognized this on yesterday, Madam Chair, at the language immersion kickoff. It was back on January 26, 2016, when this was approved by the board at that time. And so it's, so how many years is that, y'all? That's 7 years later. Now we've seen the kind of the full layout of what was presented. And so I wanted to, again, commend the vision of the board at the time to where we are now. And just said to say that, it takes a while for some things to happen in education. And now we see the fruits of those labors, because now those young people should be sixth grade? Sixth grade.
Right, during middle school.
So, and as we continue with that vision, we hope that now we have 6 through 8, and that we take it maybe 9 through 12, as we continue to put forth that vision. Again, thank you, and thank you, Madam Chair, because I think you were the chairperson at that time. I'm looking at the minutes now as well. So again, we appreciate you all in your leadership. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Devine, but it takes a team, and I'm appreciative of, you can bring a suggestion, but it takes the team to go along with the suggestion. Then it takes a strong superintendent to suit up the Army and get it accomplished. And I must say, we don't celebrate these guys enough for the hard work that they do, sometimes under some of the most strenuous circumstances. But you still work hard to make sure that you show up every day for every child, and we commend you for that. I do need to back up to the office of the board because there's a very important proclamation that I do need to read on behalf of the governor. It says, the state of South Carolina governor's proclamation. Whereas education is the foundation upon which the economic, intellectual, and social capital of our state is built, and whereas school boards directly influence instruction in South Carolina's public schools, and whereas the decisions of local school boards affect the present and future lives of children while setting the direction to prepare all students to be competitive in a local, state, national, and global 21st century knowledge economy. And whereas local school board members work with parents, businesses, education professionals, and other community members to represent their views and create the ideal educational vision for their public schools and students. And whereas School Board Recognition Month highlights the unique role school boards play in representing their constituents by promoting and advocating for quality public education. Now, therefore, I, Henry McMaster, Governor of the great state of South Carolina, do hereby proclaim January 2023 as School Board Recognition Month throughout the state and encourage all South Carolinians to recognize the contributions of local school boards to the academic success of public school students across this Palmetto State. And it is signed by our Governor McMaster. We certainly want to thank him. For those that don't know, this is School Board Appreciation Month, and as y'all can see, we went through our whole meeting and didn't even talk about it. But I do want to take a point of personal privilege to thank the wonderful principal of Lower Richland High School, Miss Latanya Williams, that brought these beautiful gifts on behalf of the Diamond Hornets up here to the Blue Devils School to celebrate School Board Appreciation Month. We certainly appreciate it, and we appreciate all of the love that has been shown to the school board members as a whole. If there's no objection from the board, we will make one final announcement, and that is that the next regular meeting of Richland 1 School Board of Commissioners will be held on Tuesday, February the 14th, 2023, which is Valentine's Day, at 7 p.m. at the Lower Richland High School at 2615 Lower Richland Boulevard in Hopkins, South Carolina, 29061. And this is one night that Commissioner West and Commissioner Myers and myself will get to stay out a little longer because we're home. Amen? If there's no objection from the board, we can consider ourselves dismissed.